10 cards out of Darkwing Blast, and let me tell you, this is a stacked set. Quick reminder here that the Gem Deckbox collab and the Field Center will go up Friday the 14th at 11 a.m. EST, 8 a.m. Pacific time for California folks. For those of you that wanted the reminder for this, this is your chance to pick up the last run of this actual deck box from me. Let's pass on over to top 10 cards, shall we? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Number one here is going to be the Misting Seedlings with the little cute duck. All monsters on the field with 600 attack except for your Vernal Sylph monsters. You can discard this card in one monster or another Vernal Sylph card. You cannot activate non-Earth monster effects for this turn. Also add an Earth Fairy monster from your deck to your hand, except for the Misting Seedlings. Then you can special summon an Earth monster from your graveyard. This card with gadgets is an absolute banger, alright? The fact that you can do a Shizu to your element players with this card. This card is an absolute monster at what it brings to the Earth archetype. And I genuinely think a lot of people are going to be very shocked to see just kind of the overall turnabout for what you'll be able to do with this card going forward here. So trust me when I say this, this is going to be one of the most powerful cards for the extension effects that this brings to Earth decks out there. So I hope you're ready for that, all right? Next up is going to be Mole Cricket. During the main phase, quick effects. This is either player's turn. You can attribute this card to special summon a net tree monster from your deck, or if your opponent controls a monster with the highest attack, even if tied, you can special summon 2 instead of 1. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you special summon a net tree monster from the extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. First of all, this is a level 1. So you can technically 1-for-1 this out. This lets you set up some of the new Naturia BS that you can do, because there's a new Naturia in this set that when you apply one of the Naturia's Omni-Negate effects, yes, they will, by Omni-Negate, I mean, you have a monster spell and a trap negate. You have a card that negates attacks in Naturia. This support was meant to kind of bring the strategy together for Naturia, and it does a fantastic job at that. So after this set's out and you're like, what's going on? Why am I losing to Naturia all of a sudden? This deck is going to be really good. Next up is World Sea Dragon Zelantis. This is the first Link 4 in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That lets you do 1+ effect monsters. So any Link 4 converts into this. So your Appaloosa got 0 counters, go ahead and convert it on into this, alright? You can only control one of these. During your main phase, you can banish all monsters on the field, and then you can special summon as many monsters as possible that were banished by this effect to their owner's fields in either face-up or face-down defense position. Alright, so you get to reset some positions here. During the battle phase, quick effect can destroy cards up, or a number of cards on the field equal to what you have co-linked. First of all, resetting some key effects back to the field that aren't locked behind once per turn clauses. Really, really good. Alright, so trust me when I say this. This card has a lot of applications, especially in the upcoming Pendulum deck, that I think that you're going to definitely want to have on your mind. Next up is Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer. Now, why this one over the other ones? Well, this one has a searcher called Bumbuku for it. So, Pendulum effect, if you have a Draco Slayer or Magic Spectre card in your other Pendulum zone, you can add a Draco Slayer Pendulum monster with a different original name than that card from your deck to your hand. You can destroy one other card in your Pendulum zone. So it loads up something into the Pendulum zone. It's a level 4, and you got a lot of just generic good stuff going on here. Monster effect, it's always a Magic Spectre card. That's why you can search it off the Bumbuku. Quick effect, you can discard this card. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot target Draco Slayer cards. You control card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If this card was special summoned by the effect of a Draco Slayer card or Pendulum Summon, you can add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand and then discard a card. Hey, you want to search for that good old Magic Spectre field spell? Or, you know, you want to play this in Draco Slayer where it actually belongs? You got a lot of cool things that you can do with this new stuff. So, overall, not too bad for what they're bringing to the table here so far. Next up is Volo, founder of the Drudge Dragons. So this will be what you're going to do with all your beasted monsters. You're going to stick them together to make this guy. 2+ level 6 monsters to make it. Monsters your opponent control gain 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard. Well, I'm pretty sure. Quick effect and target one card in your opponent's graveyard. Detach one or two materials from this card, then activate the appropriate effect. So you can return it to the deck, two or more. If the target is a monster, special summon it face up or face down to your field. If not, send it to your field. So, you're telling me that I get a huge power up for everything in my opponent's graveyard, alright, via 100 attack and defense, sure. And I can steal something from my opponent's graveyard for the commitment of 2 beasted monsters. Okay. seems absolutely crazy good to me at the end of the day. So, really? Do not underestimate this card either. I think this card's really good. Next up is Druids Worm. Oh boy. So, Bysteel cards got some pretty good power-ups in this set, but really, how good are they? Well, this is going to be one of the ones that interrupts. You can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This becomes a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster your opponent or you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. Alright, so first of all, I mean, you basically get some spot removal with this, and the big thing here is this is going to be one of the cards that you're going to extend with here, with some of the extra pressure from the rest of the better one, Mr. Magnemite, which we'll get to shortly here. But honestly, the big thing you care about here is this is one of the better cards to spot removal a resource out of the opponent's graveyard. All right, it's pretty decent. Sprite Sprint. 2 monsters, including a level, rank, or link 2. Hi, I am the best extender ever for this deck. Cannot be used as link material the turn it's link summoned. Sure, you can only use each of the following effects of Sprite Sprint per turn and only once that turn. If this card is link summoned, you can send a level 2 monster from your deck to the graveyard. Well, let's just mill Nimble Angler, shall we? Then I get to special summon some more friends from my deck. Okay. And if another monster is a special summon while this card is on the field, you can detach one material from an Exceed monster you control, target one monster on the field, return it to the hand. Second effect doesn't come up too crazily much, but I mean, on summon, milling one of the best extenders from your deck to continue on. Yeah, you'd be surprised how good a specific Foolish Burial is. You know, they just cleaned up Sprite on the list, but we're just now getting this. So this will add some very nice fuel to the fire here in the near future. Next up is Tyralements Kalos. So this is a Kit Kalos plus 1 Tyralements monster to make it. So first of all, not too terrible on the summoning conditions. Other aqua monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay, sure. And you can only use the following effects of this once per turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes the effect of special summoning monster or monsters. Quick effect, and negate that activation if you destroy that card. Then send it to your elements from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. So I get a free special summon interruption? Okay. If this fusion summon card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon this card back. Cool. So it's a 3,000 that can pop itself off, and then can revive itself, but that effect, you know, won't really... you just won't be able to do all the reviving again. Yeah, this card is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that we got this. Thank you, Konami. Next up is Fenrir. Ah, man, I'm sure you've seen this card be the talk of the community being an ultra rare. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each of the following effects of Fenrir once per turn. So during the main phase, you can add a Shantry Law monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah, this card can add itself. When this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target one face of card your opponent controls, banish it face down. Yeah, who cares if it doesn't negate the effect? It specifically gives you the option to put something face down. It's a 2,400 attack level 7 that just doesn't care. There's so much good about this card. We joke about this being like a new broken Pancretas, but like going second, you deploy this card, you swing, you get to spot removal something with it. If your opponent tries to do anything on their turn, you put something face down. Like, yeah, Fenrir is one of the best cards out of this set by far. Now, the only real card that we could really come up with to compete with this was Magnemite. So this is another one of the Bysteel cards. You can target one light or dark in either graveyard, banish it, special summon this card. Becomes a quick effect if your opponent has a monster. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, Add 1 dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except for Bestial Magnemite. You can only use each effect of Magnemite per turn. Well, I get a free recruiter off of this, which can search for Druids Worm. Pretty good. It just gives you the ability to line up more interruptions to punish the opponent. And that's kind of what you want with these hand traps. I mean, it deploys a pretty large body onto the field, too. 2,500 is nothing to really scoff at. Trust me on that. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now with top 10. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.